Lena stepped into the doorway and blocked my exit just as I reached for the handle. "You're not coming home. We've already decided." No hesitation. No discussion. Her hand stayed on the frame like she had the right. I stopped. Eric stood behind her. My son. Silent. Eyes down. Like this had already been settled. I looked at them, waiting for something. A correction, a mistake, anything that sounded human. Nothing. Lena shifted closer. "Everything is arranged. There's nothing to talk about." Arranged. Not discussed. Not agreed. Arranged. Like I wasn't part of it anymore. Like I was something to relocate. I felt it then. Not anger. Not fear. Something colder. Control, gone. I had walked into this hospital on my own. Now they were deciding where I would live. Without me. I looked at Eric again. He didn't even try to meet my eyes. That's when it clicked. This wasn't a conversation. This was the final step. And I was already too late. My name is Daniel Brooks. I'm 70. They didn't say it like it was sudden. They said it like it had been building for a long time. Lena stepped aside just enough for a nurse to pass. Then she looked back at me. "The house is too much for you now." Too much. I nodded once. Not in agreement. Just to keep things moving. Eric finally spoke, but not to me. "We talked about this." We. I noticed that. I had spent 10 years in that house taking care of my wife after her stroke. Every day. Every night. No breaks. No rotation. They visited. They helped sometimes. But the house was mine to manage. Now suddenly it wasn't. Lena pulled a folder from her bag. Clean. Organized. Tabs. Signatures. Prepared. "We found a place. It's very good. Full care. You won't have to worry about anything. Won't have to worry." I watched her hands as she opened the folder. Not shaking. Confident. This wasn't a suggestion. This was a transition already approved. I didn't reach for the papers. I didn't ask questions. Because I understood something simple. Every answer was already decided. Eric shifted his weight, still avoiding my eyes. "It's safer this way, Dad." Safer. That word again. I looked at him carefully. Trying to find hesitation. Doubt. Anything. There was none. Just pressure. Quiet. Steady. Planned. I felt it under every word. Not care. Direction. And if I pushed now? If I argued, raised my voice, demanded control? I would lose it completely. So I didn't. I stayed still. Listened. Watched. And kept one thought to myself. They had made their decision. But I hadn't made mine. I didn't argue. I signed nothing. I just watched. That was enough to make them relax. Lena closed the folder with a soft click, like a task completed. "We'll handle the rest," she said. Handle. Another word that didn't include me. They walked me out later that day. Not home. To the car. I noticed how Lena stayed close, always half a step ahead, guiding direction without touching me. Control without force. Eric opened the passenger door. "Just for now," he said. "Just for now." I nodded again. Same answer. No commitment. No resistance. From the outside, it probably looked like I agreed. That was the point. The facility was clean. Quiet. Too quiet. They showed me the room. Bed. Chair. Window facing a parking lot. Temporary, they said. Everything was temporary. But nothing felt that way. Lena spoke with the staff like she had done this before. Names. Schedules. Instructions. Prepared. I sat on the edge of the bed and listened. I noticed something else. They weren't asking about my routines. My preferences. My decisions. Only logistics. Only transitions. Like I had already been removed from the center. That night, I didn't sleep. Not because of the place. Because of the pattern. Every step had been set in advance. Every word pushed in one direction. And none of it included me choosing. The next morning, Eric came back alone. He stood by the door this time. Still not looking at me directly. We should talk about the house. There it was. Not if. Not later. The house. I leaned back slightly, giving him space to speak. He took a breath. It's too big. Too expensive to maintain. We need to start preparing it. We. Again. I watched him carefully. This wasn't concern. This was sequence. Step 1, remove me. Step 2, move the house. I didn't interrupt. I didn't question. Because something inside me had already shifted. They thought this was about care. But it wasn't. It was about control. And I had just started paying attention. I didn't answer him right away. I let the silence sit between us. Eric shifted again. His hands moved, then stopped. Like he was waiting for resistance. I gave him none. We should list it soon, he added. Before winter. Soon. There it was. Not a conversation. A timeline. I looked at the floor for a moment, then back at him. Still calm. Still quiet. You've already looked into that? I asked. Simple question. He hesitated. Just a second. Then. Lena has. Of course. I nodded slowly. No reaction. But I noticed everything. Who spoke? Who decided? Who acted? And who stood in the doorway, repeating it? He took that as agreement. I saw it in his shoulders. They dropped slightly. Relief. That told me more than his words. There's a good market right now, he continued. We can get a strong price. We. Always we. Never mine. I leaned back further into the chair. Let him talk. He filled the silence quickly. Details. Numbers. Timing. Prepared. Too prepared. Then he reached into his jacket. Pulled out a thin folder. Smaller than Lena's. But the same structure. Tabs. Clean edges. Ready. Just preliminary, he said. Nothing final. Nothing final. But already printed. Already brought. Already here. He placed it on the table beside me. Didn't push it closer. Didn't need to. The message was clear. This was happening. With or without me. I didn't touch it. Not yet. Instead, I asked one more question. When did you decide this? He froze. Not long. Just enough. We've been talking about it for a while. Talking. Again, that word. Used like a cover. I held his gaze this time. He looked away first. That was enough. That was the first crack. I felt it. Small. But real. Because now I knew. This wasn't recent. This wasn't reactive. This had been planned. Step by step. Without me. And if I reacted now? If I pushed, refused, raised my voice? They would close ranks. Adjust. Move faster. So I didn't. I reached for the folder. Opened it. And started reading. Like I was exactly where they wanted me to be. That's when I stopped being part of their plan. And started studying it. I read every page slowly. Not because I needed time. Because I wanted them to think I did. Addresses. Numbers. Timelines. Agent details already filled in. Recommended listing price circled in blue ink. Someone had spent time on this. Not casually. Carefully. I flipped another page. Repairs. Suggested updates to maximize value. My house reduced to bullet points. Kitchen aging. Roof approaching end of life. Garden requires simplification. I built that garden with my wife. 10 years of small changes. Now it was a line item. I didn't react. I kept reading. Eric stood there, waiting. I could feel it. Waiting for approval. For permission. Or maybe just for compliance. We can handle everything, he said quietly. You don't have to worry. There it was again. That word. Handle. I closed the folder halfway. Looked up at him. Who's we? I asked. He blinked. Caught off guard. Me and Lena. Of course. Always the same answer. I nodded once. Then went back to the pages. There was a section clipped at the back. Different paper. Not part of the main packet. I slid it out carefully. Didn't rush. Didn't show interest. But I felt it immediately. Denser. Numbers. Financials. I unfolded it. Loan documents. Partial. But enough. My son's name. Large figure highlighted. $120,000. I read it again. Same number. No mistake. I didn't look at him. Not yet. I kept my eyes on the paper. What's this? I asked. Calm. Flat. He didn't answer right away. I heard him shift. Then. Just something temporary. Temporary. Another word. Carefully chosen. I turned the page slightly. Collateral section. Not fully printed. But enough visible. Future asset expectation. Property value estimate. My property. Not his. I felt something settle into place. Not shock. Not anger. Clarity. I placed the paper back into the folder. Closed it fully this time. Slow. Deliberate. Then I looked at him. Really looked. You used the house, I said. Not a question. He swallowed. Didn't deny it. It's just until the sale goes through, he said quickly. Then everything balances out. Balances out. I watched his face. There was no hesitation now. Just urgency. Pressure. Like he needed me to move forward. Not for me. For him. For what was already in motion. That's when it became clear. This wasn't about helping me. This wasn't about safety. This wasn't even about the house itself. It was about timing. About money already spent. About decisions already made. And me. I was just the last step. The signature. The formality. I leaned back again. Let the silence stretch. He filled it again. Explaining. Justifying. Talking faster now. But I wasn't listening anymore. Because I had already heard the only thing that mattered. He had built something. On top of my life. Without telling me. And now he needed me to make it real. I nodded once. Small. Controlled. Enough to calm him. Enough to keep him talking. But inside. Everything had changed. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was a structure. And I had just found the foundation. I didn't confront him. Not then. That would have been a mistake. Everything I had just seen, it wasn't fragile. It was already built. Money borrowed. Deals discussed. Timelines set. If I pushed now, they wouldn't stop. They would adjust. Move faster. Find another way around me. So I did the opposite. I relaxed. Just slightly. Enough for him to see it. If it's already in motion, I said slowly, then we shouldn't delay things. His shoulders dropped instantly. Relief. Real relief. That told me everything. He needed this. Not later. Now. Exactly, he said. That's what I've been trying to explain. Explain. I nodded again. Let him believe that. Let him think I had just caught up. He sat down across from me for the first time. Closer now. More confident. Once the house sells, everything stabilizes, he continued. The loan gets cleared. We can focus on your care properly. There it was. Not hidden anymore. Loan. Cleared. My house as solution. I kept my face neutral. And the buyer? I asked. He hesitated. Just enough. Lena has someone interested. Of course she did. Already lined up. Already moving. Serious offer. I asked. Very, he said quickly. We just need to formalize things. Formalize. That word again. Everything already done. Just waiting for me. I leaned forward slightly. Like I was engaging now. Then we should do it properly, I said. He nodded immediately. Too fast. Yes. Exactly. I watched him carefully. He thought he had me. That the pressure had worked. That I had accepted the path. But I wasn't following. I was mapping. Every word. Every gap. Every step they had already taken. Bring me everything, I said calmly. Full details. Buyer. Terms. Timeline. He blinked. Didn't expect that. But then he nodded. Of course. Of course. Because saying no would raise questions. And they didn't want that. Not now. Not when they were this close. He stood up. More energy now. More movement. I'll talk to Lena. We'll get everything ready. We. Always we. I didn't correct him. I just watched him walk to the door. He stopped for a second. Turned back. This is the right decision, Dad. I held his gaze. Calm. Steady. We'll see, I said. He nodded. Left. The door closed softly. And for the first time since the hospital, I was alone. I sat there without moving. Letting everything settle. The house. The loan. The buyer. The timeline. It was all connected. Too clean. Too prepared. Too fast. This wasn't care. This was execution. And now I understood the most important part. They thought I was late. That I had just realized. Just accepted. Just agreed. But they were wrong. I stood up slowly. Walked to the window. Looked outside without really seeing anything. Because the decision had already been made. Not theirs. Mine. I wouldn't stop them. Not yet. I wouldn't confront them. Not directly. I would let it continue. Let them move forward. Let them commit fully. Let them believe I was exactly what they needed me to be. Weak. Tired. Dependent. Because the moment I pushed, they would protect themselves. But if I stayed quiet, they would expose everything. And that's when I understood. I wasn't part of their plan anymore. I was watching it unfold. And I was going to let it go all the way. I didn't rush. That was the difference. They were moving fast. I wasn't. That gave me control. The next 2 days, I said nothing. Eric called once. Short. Careful. We're putting everything together. I told him I'd wait. Lena didn't call. She didn't need to. She was already moving things forward. I could feel it. So I started checking. Quietly. Not through them. Through everything around them. Old habits. I called the bank first. Not to ask questions. Just to confirm details. Numbers matched. The loan was real. Active. Time sensitive. That mattered. Pressure always leaves traces. Then I called someone else. Not family. Not friends. Someone neutral. Someone who understood structure. I didn't explain everything. I didn't need to. I just asked one question. How do you protect a property from being moved without your consent? There was a pause. Then a calm answer. You move it first. Simple. Clean. Final. That stayed with me. I didn't act immediately. I waited. Because timing mattered now. They were building momentum. I needed to let it grow. That afternoon, Eric came back. This time with Lena. Both of them sat across from me. Aligned. Prepared. The folder was thicker now. More documents. More signatures. More certainty. We have an offer, Lena said. Straight to the point. No build-up. Good price. Clean deal. Fast closing. I nodded slowly. And the buyer? I asked. She answered without hesitation. Private. Ready to move immediately. Of course. Everything immediate. Everything fast. I looked at Eric. He avoided my eyes again. But less this time. Confidence was returning. They thought we were close. They thought I was already inside the decision. And my part? I asked. Lena slid a paper forward. Marked. Prepared. We just need your signature to proceed. There it was. Simple. Direct. Final. I picked up the paper. Didn't read it yet. Just held it. Felt the weight. Not of the document. Of the expectation. They were watching me now. Both of them. Waiting. I let the silence stretch. Then I placed the paper back down. Carefully. I'll review everything tonight, I said. Lena's expression tightened slightly. Not much. But enough. We don't have much time, she said. Pressure. Again. I nodded. Then it's good we're doing this properly. She didn't like that answer. I could see it. But she adjusted quickly. Of course. Of course. Always adapting. Eric stood up first. We'll come back tomorrow. Not ask. State. I didn't correct him. I just nodded. They left together. Same pace. Same direction. Same confidence. The door closed. And the room went quiet again. I looked at the papers. Didn't open them. Not yet. Because I already knew what they said. That wasn't the point. The point was timing. They thought tomorrow was the end. The final step. The signature. The transfer. The completion. But tomorrow was when everything would change. I stood up slowly. Walked to the small desk by the window. Picked up the phone. And made one call. Short. Precise. I'm ready, I said. No explanations. No details. Just that. The answer came just as calm. Then we move now. I ended the call. Looked back at the papers one last time. And understood something clearly. They believed control belonged to whoever acted first. But that wasn't true. Control belonged to whoever understood the system. And I had just stepped ahead of them. Quietly. Without resistance. Without warning. By the time they came back tomorrow, nothing would be where they expected it to be. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was worried. Because I was aligning things. Every step had to be precise. No noise. No hesitation. By morning, it was done. Quietly. Exactly the way it needed to be. When Eric and Lena arrived, they walked in with the same confidence as before. Same pace. Same certainty. The folder was in Lena's hands again. Thicker this time. Final version. We're ready, she said. I nodded. So am I. That seemed to relax them. Eric sat down quickly. Leaning forward now. Engaged. Expecting closure. Lena placed the documents in front of me. Marked pages. Tabs. Sign here. Initial here. Standard. Predictable. I picked up the pen. Turned it slowly between my fingers. Let the silence stretch just a little longer. They watched every movement. Waiting. I opened the folder. Glanced through the pages. Didn't rush. Didn't question. Then I stopped on one page. Looked at it carefully. And asked, calm. Where do I send the title? Lena frowned slightly. What do you mean? I looked up. Held her gaze. The buyer. Where do I send the title? Eric shifted. Confused. That's handled through closing, he said. You just sign. I shook my head once. Small. Controlled. No. Send them the title. Silence. Real silence this time. Lena's expression changed. Not much. But enough. Daniel, that's not how this works. I placed the pen down. Carefully. It is now. Eric looked between us. Something slipping. Something not fitting. Dad, what are you talking about? I didn't answer him. I reached for my phone instead. Picked it up. Dialed. Put it on speaker. One ring. Two. Then. Yes. Calm voice on the other end. Prepared. I didn't look away from Lena. They're asking about the house, I said. A short pause. Then the answer. They shouldn't be. Lena froze. What is this? She asked sharply. I ended the call. Set the phone down. And finally gave them the truth. Simple. Clear. I don't own the house anymore. Nothing moved. For a second, neither of them reacted. Like the words didn't land. Then. What? Eric said. Lena's voice came right after. Tighter. What do you mean you don't own it? I leaned back. Calm. It's already been transferred. Silence broke completely. Transferred to who? She demanded. I held her gaze. Didn't blink. Not to you. That was the moment. The shift. Everything they built collapsed in place. Eric stood up too fast. Chair scraping. Dad, what did you do? I didn't raise my voice. Didn't move. I protected it. Lena grabbed the folder. Flipping pages. Hands not steady anymore. This doesn't make sense. This isn't possible. I watched her carefully. It is. Eric stepped closer. Panic now. Real. You can't just, there's a deal, there's a loan. He stopped himself. Too late. I looked at him. I know. That hit harder than anything else. Because now he understood. I had seen it. All of it. Lena slammed the folder shut. You just destroyed everything. I shook my head once. No. Pause. Then. You did. No anger. No force. Just truth. And nothing they said after that could change it. They didn't stay long after that. There was nothing left to control. No signatures. No leverage. Just consequences. Eric's phone started ringing before they even reached the door. Once. Twice. Then again. He checked the screen. His face changed. It's the bank, he said quietly. I didn't respond. Lena was already dialing someone else. Fast. Sharp movements now. No more calm. No more structure. The deal is off, she said into the phone. Something changed. Something changed. Yes. Everything. Eric turned back to me. For the first time, he looked smaller. Not angry. Not confident. Just exposed. You knew, he said. I held his gaze. I figured it out. That was enough. His phone kept ringing. Again. Again. He silenced it. Didn't answer. Because he already knew what they wanted. Money. Explanations. Payment. Lena stepped closer to me one last time. You ruined this. I didn't move. Didn't react. No, I said calmly. Pause. Then. I stopped it. Silence settled between us. Heavy. Final. They left without another word. And I stayed where I was. Not relieved. Not satisfied. Just certain. I didn't fight them. I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I let them believe they were in control. And then I showed them. They never were.